Hey boys and girls, this is Miss Matthews, and today we're going to do pages 330 and 331, and then we're going to answer some questions over these two examples of text on 332 and 333, and then do a writing. All right, today you'll read a play and a folktale that tell the same story in a different way. First, you'll read to understand what is happening in each text. Then you're going to read to compare and contrast the features of the two texts. Okay, so as you are reading these in The Sound of Money, look down here where it says your closed reader habits, down at the bottom. How does the drama tell you about the character's actions? As you are reading this, I want you to circle details that tell the characters how to act. Okay, and when you get over to your Sound of Money, says, how does the story tell you about the setting? Circle the words that tell you where the action occurs. Okay, so I'm going to pause the video and I'm going to give you some time to read your two examples of text, and remember to follow those directions and circle your details about how the characters act in the first one, and circle your details about your setting where your action takes place in the second one. And then we'll come back and see if we see what you got. Okay, so start reading and I'll resume in a few minutes. All right, boys and girls, so let's look back at our first example of text, The Sound of Money. All right, in this one we were to circle details that tell how the characters act, so our stage directions. So I circled several examples of some stage directions. Leans over the pot to smell the soup, angrily grabs the traveler's arm. Just then, the town judge walks onto stage. He stops to listen to the innkeeper and the traveler, pulls out his pockets to show they are empty. He reaches into his pocket and pulls out a handful of coins. And finally, he jingles the handful of coins in front of the innkeeper. So all those things that I circled were details that told the characters how to act, our stage directions. So now I'm going to go over to my Sound of Money. And in this one, they wanted us to circle the words that tell where the action occurs. And you notice in this one, I don't have near as many things circled, do I? But everywhere it talked about the setting, I'm going to circle it. Okay, so the first one, he went to a nearby inn. So I'm going to circle inn. Do y'all know what an inn is? Kind of like a hotel. Okay, a hotel, motel, somewhere that you stay if you are on a trip. The next one, the kitchen. The beggar sneaked into the kitchen. So our setting changed. He went into the kitchen. And then the last one, the angry innkeeper dragged him before the Qadi. Now, I'm not quite sure what this word means. When I was looking at this word, I even Googled it to make sure that I was going to pronounce it correctly, because this is a word that even I didn't really know about. But if I look at it, I see that there's a number 1 beside it. So that tells me if I go to the bottom of my page, they're probably going to tell me what that word means. And we're familiar with the word judge. So the innkeeper dragged him before the judge. So all those things that I circled had to do with the setting. Okay, now let's turn the page and let's see what we're going to have to do with these two passages. Okay, let's look at our questions. Okay, if I look at question 1, it says, which statement best describes one difference between how the writers describe the setting in the drama and in the story? Okay, so I'm going to pause my video and I want you to go through and I want you to think about your answer choices here. Okay, and then we're going to answer that one. So I'm going to pause it for a minute or so and give you some time to answer. All right, if you look at your choices, you should have chosen choice B. The writer of the drama describes the setting early in the play. He told us where they were. The writer of the story describes the setting as different story details are told. Because remember, in the in the story, the setting changed a little bit, didn't it? Started out, they were at the inn, then the kitchen, and then they went before the judge. So your correct answer would be B. Okay? All right, let's look at question 2. Question 2 says, which statements best explain how readers learn about the innkeeper's accusations against the traveler and the beggar? Pick 2 choices. Notice that word 2 is bolded. One from the drama and one from the folktale. So you're going to pick one from here, either A, B, or C, and then you're going to pick one from here to describe the folktale. Okay, so I want you to pause the video, look at that question, and then resume, and then we'll come back and answer that one. Okay, you should have chosen A and F, and let's look at B. B is incorrect because the stage directions do not provide you with details. Okay, they don't tell you the details. All right, let's look at C. C is incorrect because we have learned that plays usually do not have a narrator. Okay, most dramas, including this one, do not have a narrator. All right, let's look at D. In the folktale, the stanza. Now, do stories have stanzas? No, folktales and other stories are written with paragraphs, so that is why that one's incorrect. E, the dialogue provides the details. No, the dialogue in the folktale begins after the narrator describes the innkeeper's accusations. So you should have chosen A and F. Okay, let's look at question 3. What elements in the drama tell the innkeeper, the traveler, and the town judge how to act and what to say? Okay, pause the video, answer your question, and then come back and we'll go over your answer. All right, your correct answer should be A. Okay, the correct answer is A because it's a drama, and our key words in our questions were tell them how to act and what to say. And we know that stage directions tell our characters how to act and what to say. We could eliminate C and D right off because these have to do with poetry. Rhythm have to do with poetry, and stanzas have to do with poetry. And we could eliminate B because the dialogue really doesn't tell us anything about how they're supposed to act, does it? Okay? The setting only tells where and when the drama takes place. So your correct answer should have been A. Okay, all right, let's look at this question. This question has 2 parts. Answer part A, then answer part B. Part A, what is one way in which the drama and the folktale are alike? And part B, what evidence from the end of the drama and the folktale best supports your answer to part A? Write similar details in the boxes. Okay, so I'm going to give you some time to do that. I want you to pause the video. All right, let's look at our choices. What is one way in which the drama and the folktale are alike? So if I look at these, the thoughts of some characters are written out. This is incorrect because only the story reveals a character's thought, not the play. B, stage directions explain the answer. And C, a cast of characters. Well, both of these only have to do with the drama or the play. So our correct answer would be D. Dialogue is used to help tell the story. So I just found these quotes in our story where it talks about just some quotes that we find in our story. What evidence from the end of the drama and the folktale best supports your answer to part A? In the drama, he says, town judge, for the smell of soup you receive only the sound of money. And in the folktale, and I will pay you for the smell of soup with sound of money. So that just kind of, those were two examples of some dialogue that was found at the end of the play and the folktale that help you support your answer in number 4. Okay, let's go down here and let's look at our writing. It says, compare and contrast how you learn about the characters in the drama and the story. Use the information in your chart for help. Include at least 2 details from each passage to support your response. Use the space provided on page 335 to write your response. So I'm going to go to 335, and I have an organizer, and it's going to help me organize my thoughts. I'm going to put me some story details here, some play details here, and some things they have in common here. Okay, so I'm going to do my chart. I want you to pause your video, and I want you to work on your chart, and then come back and we will compare. All right, guys, this is an example. These are just a few that I came up with. Yours may be a little different, and that's fine as long as you support them in the story. Okay, in one of the story details, I said they used a narrator to explain the characters. We do know that there is a poor man and an innkeeper and a judge in both of the stories, in the play and the story. And in the play, there's stage directions and dialogue to explain the characters and not a narrator. So what you're going to do, you're going to take what you put in your chart and you're just going to put it into your paragraph. In both stories, there is an innkeeper, a poor man, and a judge. The play uses stage directions and dialogue to explain characters, and the story doesn't always use dialogue. It uses a narrator to explain. Okay, so yours, like I said, may be a little different from mine, and that's fine, okay, as long as you support it. All right, let's look ahead, and let's see what we are going to be working on in our next lesson. This is going to be your independent practice, so you need to do this before you watch the lesson, because when we do this, I'm just going to go over your answers with you and explain your answers. So you're going to read a play. It's called The Talker. And then you're going to read a story or prose that's called The Talker. Okay? So, and then you're going to answer your questions. But like I said, before you watch the lesson, you need to have your questions answered, because mine are already going to be answered, because this is independent practice. You need to practice this on your own. Okay? And that will be posted tomorrow. All right, y'all have a great evening. Work hard.